What's your least favorite position to be stuck in?
Side control.
Side control. It's terrible down there. Why?
Because I feel like you can't breathe. It's very smothery.
Yeah, against like bigger people,
Yeah.
right? As you can tell, she's a lot smaller than me, but you know, I kind of had a similar experience. Like, I think most people would feel that way in side control, especially against somebody who's much bigger and stronger than them. So I got to tell you, I haven't prepped her at all for this video. I'm just kind of winging it. Have you heard me tell one of my favorite Helson stories?
I don't know. You've told me a lot of Helson stories.
I have. I tell this story in class all the time because it really was like one of the best lessons for me ever. I may have been a white belt, a blue belt. I honestly can't remember. It was very early on. And we're in a seminar. And of course, I'm just stoked to see any Gracie, but you know, Helson especially. And he's teaching the seminars. I mean, if you've ever been to a Helson seminar, you know he's a masterful teacher. And he was one of the students. He was just asking people for questions. It's like, who's got a problem? Who's got a problem? And this guy raised his hand, a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, Helson, I get stuck in this north-south position where the guy's holding me down, and I can't escape, and I'm having a hard time breathing, all this stuff, and you know, I don't know how to get out. And north-south is just a variation of side control. It's a pinning position, and Helson gets all excited. His eyes brighten up. He's like, have I told you the story? Maybe? Okay.
Waiting.
He's like, which guy? Show me the guy. And so he points him out. This guy comes out. He's like 260 pounds. He's like, oh, okay, come here, sir. You hold me. And so he lays down. He gets in his defense. The guy's on top. And he's like, you hold me down, sir. Hold me down as tight as you can. And so the guy holds him. And we're expecting this like really fancy, crazy, explosive move that Helson's going to pull off. And he's just sitting there. He's just waiting. And the guy's holding, and he's just still squeezing. You can see like he's almost getting red in his face. And Helson's just sitting there, just breathing. And after a while, the guy thinks, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong. And he sits up, to like just look at Helson and say, well, what should I be doing? And all of a sudden, Helson spins around and brings his legs back and it's like, and now kick your butt. And everybody laughed, of course, but it was a very important lesson because it was not about the technique. It was more about the philosophy, and that's what's really, really important about the concept of patience in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, is knowing when to escape. And what he was saying essentially was, if he's holding you, he's not necessarily hurting you. Anytime he goes for an attack, then there's going to be an opportunity for an escape. But you don't try to force your way out. And that's a very, very important lesson for everybody in Jiu-Jitsu, especially when you're the smaller person. You have to be able to conserve energy. I remember seeing a quote once, Hicks and Gracie, in a magazine. I still can't find the magazine, so I hope it was a Hicks and Gracie quote. It's been a long time. But it stuck with me, and it said something to the effect that if my opponent is weak, then I'm strong. But if my opponent is strong, then I'm weak. Meaning that if he's stronger than you, you don't want to fight force against force, right? You want to use timing, leverage, and proper technique. So if your objective is survival, sometimes the only thing you can do in a negative position like that is just breathe, right? So how do you feel now compared to when you first started?
Oh, way different.
Way better.
Yeah.
Are you escaping?
Still sucks.
It still sucks. It still sucks. And look, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm black belt. It still sucks for me too, but it sucks less, right? And so.
And I don't typically try to escape anymore.
Good.
I think that was part of the problem. Was I was fighting against it instead of just waiting.
Waiting, yeah. And it takes a long time. And so that really brings up one of the most important, concepts in Jiu-Jitsu is patience. Now, that can work against you in competition, right? In competition, your objective is not to just not lose, right? So for us, in pure jiu-jitsu, like the concept is really survival. So surviving is winning. It's how we define what it is that we want to do, right? If my objective is to survive, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care about points. I don't care about actually even finishing this person. I care about survival, right? In competition, we don't have that luxury. Sometimes you're stuck, and that's why I think some people get really, really confused and really, I think, frustrated, because they feel like they have to escape. And sometimes they're being coached as if they have to escape. I remember Huron telling me a story. He was training with somebody, a lady like your size, and Huron's a big guy, right? And he's training with this girl. He's on top side control, and her coach is yelling at her like, "Go, escape, bridge, escape, go. You gotta move, gotta move, gotta move." And he looks over, he's like, "You come over here and try it," right? Like, she's stuck under somebody who's twice her size. The concept of trying to force your way out is antithetical to jiu-jitsu. So patience, my friends, right? And all of our patience are being tested right now because of, COVID and all that sort of thing. If you're watching this video a couple of years from now, that might make sense to you. But yeah, it's an important lesson. I think sometimes it's easier for somebody your size to kind of get that, because you're kind of forced into being patient, right? If you can't force your way out, all you can do is really just hunker down, make sure you can breathe, keep yourself safe, and be patient and wait on the opportunity. So if you're having a difficult time in side control, it's okay. Everybody does. Against the right person who can pin you and hold you down, just try to breathe, right? Just keep yourself safe. And I do this all the time because this is what my teacher taught me. Keep your arms inside. And it also helps. One little tip, one technical tip that can really help you here. If you could lay down for me here. In side control, if your arms are separated, number one, this is what I want as the top side person. I want her arms separated. So now her neck is open, her arms are exposed, right? So I can attack the arms. But if we keep the arms inside, this creates a little bit of a platform. Okay, number one, her arms are closer to each other so she can defend herself. She can also defend her neck and her face if we decide to start throwing strikes. But so important here, when you create this shelf here, this allows your diaphragm to expand, okay? So if your chest is compressed, if I'm really heavy here in the chest area like this, right, it may be difficult for her to expand her chest, but she may be able to breathe down here and take a nice deep breath. And this can actually give her some calmness here, right? So what do people say when you're like stressed or whatever and you're freaked out or something like that? What do they say to calm you down?
Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath, right? So when you're stuck in this position, find your safe place here, safe place here, and just breathe. So you can tell a difference if the arms are outside. How easy is it to breathe?
Not very.
It sucks, right? Now, same weight, how do you feel?
Much better.
A lot better, okay? So if you're having difficulty there, the most important thing is to stay safe, be patient, and breathe. Okay, so hope this is helpful. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you soon.